Hello and welcome to the 100 Podcast. I'm Dan, and today I'm giving you my very first off-the-cuff reactions to the 100 Season 5, Episode 9, Sic Semper Tyrannis. And this is the episode where things just went crazy. Everything happened this episode. It was basically a finale, and I am 100% going to forget things to talk about in this video, so if you don't usually check out our audio podcasts, I highly recommend it. They're available on a number of podcast platforms and over at the100podcast.com, but this is definitely one where I'm going to need to rewatch. I'm going to need to take notes because they just went from like 0 to 1,000 this episode, and not even just in like one plot line, basically in every plot line. And so I don't even know where to begin here. It was really fun to watch. A lot of cool things happened. It was action-packed, high stakes, lots of twists and turns, and lots of cool character moments. I do feel like it was a little too fast. I didn't have any room to breathe to like even remotely let any character moment sort of sink in before they were on to the next huge thing. And like, I understand high stakes, they wanted it to be a very tense-filled episode, and I'm like, so I don't really think it was bad in that way. It's just like, I feel like the last 2 or 3 episodes have been very slow. Even though I like those episodes, like they have been very like, this is the status quo, and I'm just like, couldn't you space this stuff out a little bit? But that said, lots of cool stuff. I think that Murphy sort of creating this civil war was really cool. It was great to see him so proud of himself. It was funny. And then him realizing that they kind of fucked up once Kane came. That was great too. I liked the back and forth between Raven and Echo. Dioza continues to be amazing. McCreary continues to be a somewhat one-dimensional villain. He doesn't even get 2 dimensions, he's just one-dimensional. But he's an enjoyable actor. He chews up the scenery, so I'm okay with it. Meanwhile, we have Bellamy betraying Clark to get the flame inside of Maddie. I did not see that coming this quickly. And it was a big character move. Again, a kind of thing that like in a normal episode that would have been like the biggest thing that occurred. And I guess for some people maybe it still was, but it happened so early on. There were so many huge things after that I'm just like, ultimately, I'm actually more on Bellamy's side in this episode than I ended up being in Clark's side. And I actually think for me, my biggest sad point of this episode is Clark. I feel like so much like I'm losing the Clark that I really loved. And meanwhile, I'm like, yeah, okay, Bellamy like betrayed her or whatever. But like, of course he's going to do the thing for, he would risk Maddie, who he doesn't really know, for all the other people that he cares about. And also it ends up ultimately saving Clark's life too, or would his plan save Clark's life too. And so like, yeah, he'd accept her being pissed off and potentially risking Maddie. And so like that makes sense to me. Like, and it's also like, what else was he supposed to do? This was also the way to stop a war. It was like, yeah, okay, this was the thing to do. But as far as Clark goes, at the end of the episode, her just being like, well, Bellamy fucked up, I'm leaving him. I'm just like, I don't know how much I feel about that. And I understand on a logical level, like her caring so much about Maddie, and now Maddie is her everything. But as a viewer and as someone who loves Clark, that isn't really what I want from her, and Maddie does not matter to me as much as Bellamy matters to me. Obviously, they didn't show their development nearly enough for me to be as on board with Maddie being Clark's everything. And that's just ultimately where it's harder for me to now connect with that character and with the harshness of the choices she's making specifically for a character that we haven't really seen her grow with that much. And honestly, Maddie, to me, is not that great of a character. And it's to the point where it's hurting Clark enough that I almost wish Maddie had never come into the show. I know I'm probably very alone in that, but I think Maddie's okay. That's generally where I'm landing on that one. I do think that getting the commanders and the whole thing with the flame in there was interesting. Her connecting with Lexa was a cool moment, definitely. At the same time, can't escape the weirdness of Clark's dead lover now being in her daughter's brain. pretty weird. Pretty, like, fucked up weird sci-fi shit that I don't know how I feel about. Let me know in the comments below. Meanwhile, we had lots of cool moments. We had Miller standing up against Indra, which was crazy, and a cool twist for that character. I don't know if twist is the right twist as far as this season. Like, Indra's whole thing of, like, trying to stop Octavia is great. Octavia, at the end, having her sort of little mini breakdown as she realizes that she's alone, I thought was really cool. And the fact that she, like, doesn't immediately execute everybody. She's making still prideful, stupid choices, but she's still human, and I think that's really matters. Now, is that enough to let her be redeemed from all this? I don't know. I don't know if I'm okay with it. Like, I don't know if they've done enough for me to be okay with her being redeemed, especially with the fact that he did ultimately give the order to murder Maddie and basically Clark, I guess. So I don't know, but either way, right now, she's an interesting, complex villain in the same way that Diyoza is. I'm excited to see both of them, you know, still sort of going head to head, while we also have McCreary causing trouble over there too. So it's all just a mangled mess of civil wars and other wars and what's going on. And we have our space crew in the middle of it, and we have Kane judging everybody, and we have Vincent being all creepy in the corner. There's just so much going on. And I don't even know. Like, I feel like everything I'm saying on a rewatch, I might totally feel differently. So let me know what you guys think. What did you think of this episode? Do you agree with characters' choices? Did it break your heart to see Bellamy and Clark being so at odds right now? In some ways, I'm like, did we even need the Echo thing when this is a much bigger thing standing in the way of their relationship? You know, it makes the Echo thing seem even less helpful or useful. Were you more upset with Clark? Were you more upset with Bellamy? How do you feel about Octavia through all of this? I'm excited to know, and I'm excited to do the podcast tomorrow with Olga and get her opinions. So if you want to be part of that audio podcast, please either email us at the100pod@gmail.com. You can tweet us over at the100podcast over on Twitter. You can go to the100podcast.com and leave us a little message over there. There's a whole myriad of ways. You can comment down below, obviously. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time.